Hello you guys and welcome back in another video. Righty, this time we will talk about apricots. Believe it or not, this is a 2-year-old tree from a seed. This is a 1-year-old seedling, which I wanted to work on today. I wanted to show you all the opportunities what you could have with a 2-year-old seed grown material. I will walk you through, as we do usually, about all the steps and decisions I made when I was styling this tree. So no further ado, let's get to it. So, I'm sorry, but for the hoodie, mid-October, you can kind of bin all the weather forecast apps. It said it would be nice and sunny today, which is not the case, but anyway, look at what we have in here. I was as surprised as you are. The autumn color turned out spectacular. I wasn't expecting this beautiful, I wouldn't say red, it would be more pink. Nevertheless, it looks very, very nice. The shape and the color, just so beautiful. You can wait till the tree will lose all its leaves, although it let it go very easily, so I might just defoliate it right now. We can go from there. Stop raining. I mentioned before a few times, if you're not the biggest fan of wiring, especially deciduous trees, you can skip that. You can develop these trees from clip and growth as well. What suits you better? I like to wire my trees, especially in really early developments, so I can set the primary, secondary structure, and then you could go with the clip and growth after. What we can do with this tiny, I would call it still a seedling, because it is really a seedling, like it's 2 years old, although fruiting trees, they grow really vigorously. I just took off the really tiny ones from the bottom. I'm not really sure if I want to move the main trunk, and as I said, it's the thickness, it's already like your middle finger, and it is a bit brutal, so it doesn't really matter. Though I can still move the back branches, although let me see which front will be nice for this tree. Do you know what, let's put wire on this two big branches, and we will see from there. It's not much to consider just yet which front will be the best by the Nibari. So let's see what it looks like from that front when we have that branch coming quote unquote towards to you, but I'll definitely will put some movement into that anyway. Let me just take this off. You'll see a bit better at the bottom. If we take off a tiny layer of the top soil, we can unfold more Nibari. We're talking about a flowering tree again. So in my mind, they are more leaning towards to this feminine vibe. I will leave it a bit more elongated, so I don't really want to push it back as a masculine tree. Guys, I'm not going to let you get wet, right? Just for you, for your heads, okay? So as you see from the beginning, this, what you can accomplish in 2 years, you tell me worth it or not. For me, that is not even a question. Oops, sorry. That it worth it to grow your bonsai trees, even trees. If you will get this and you would like to put it into the ground and enjoy it as your garden tree, go for it, right? Like, how much apricot costs? I mean, a few dollars, few euros. Let's say you got a box, like 12 apricots for €10, so you can get like 10 trees out of it. Just imagine this tree will, add up another 2 years or 3, and you will see in a garden center, put it into the bonsai pot, and someone will ask, I don't know, $50, €50 for it. Would you consider that it worth it? I would. I definitely would. But in this case, it's just a bit of, patience, and because I didn't do much to the seedlings, especially in the first, few years. You just put a tiny bit of wire if you want to. If you don't want to, you just let it grow as it is, and just, watch them actually developing into these really cool trees. The other thing is what I don't really want to cut off too much from the top. It's because, again, back to the fruiting trees, that are just 2 years old, and apricots, usually they need 5 to 7, could be even more years to produce flowers in the first time. Well, I got surprised that with the big tree, as you've seen, it produced flowers after 2.5, 3 years. So, although it was in the ground, nevertheless, you can have this material just in 2 years. I'm gonna wire out these 2 branches and I'll be back to you. It's getting a bit more heavier, is it? Oh, jeez. I need to go back under the roof. There's a lot of options. Well, we could consider. We could have just cut this 2 off and then continue to working on a nice movement and taper into the tree. I will leave it for now. I would like to have something at the back. We could cut this off as well. Might be the case, the end of it. Might be not. Mentioned this for a good few times. I rather have something extra to work with in the beginning rather than cut it off, because it looks that it wouldn't need to be cut off, and then at the end you will be like, I should have kept that there, so you can still come back to it and do it out, So again, considering as your front, then I might put the back down so you'll have some back branches. It's still want to that it comes up, bit of down, put some movement into it. It's really, really flexible right now, these trees, so you should be fine with that. And then be going up as a deciduous tree design that I would like to have it not shooting fully upwards, but in a almost 45-degree angle. It's not the easiest to work on the tree from the back, but this is a really good exercise that if you're working on your trees in the first few years, okay, it was really, really hard to me to able to work on the trees from any other side rather than the front, right? It's the easiest. You see the tree from your front, and you can put every single branches down where you would like them, so you see the whole silhouette from your perspective. But then exercising these This will encourage you to style the tree which would look good from every single angle and aspect. So I will try my best to do and demonstrate that today. Not the best, not the worst. If I put a bit more movement into the top, if that will help with that issue, if that is an issue. If you want to really elongate a tree, that will be fine by me. Get that top open in here. Obviously I will wire every single branch of this tree today. Let me put that branch where I think that it will be the best, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, I'll try to explain it why I did what I did. Give a nice shape to the primary or the main branches. It gives that silhouette of the tree that this could be considerable to few of you as a nice starter tree, right? And we did it in 15-20 minutes. Obviously depends on how good you are with your wiring. I'm not saying that you need to rush it. If you want to spend a few hours just to set your primaries, that's okay. This one is shooting really down and it's really close to the trunk. I don't think that we will need this tiny one there, neither this one. So I do some branch selections just right now, but everything is looking really promising. I don't think that I will need to cut off too much of this tree. The trees are way more flexible this time of the year. As you see, we put this huge movement into the branches and I didn't even felt. Neither I heard any cracks, which tells you that this is one of the best time to work on your trees. You know, the more videos I'm putting out and every single description, I'm trying to say that, guys, this is for entertaining, okay? I am not considering myself as a teacher. I'm just talking to you on a nice, fall afternoon, how I approach my tree. That's what I like to watch, all different people on YouTube, how they execute their own trees. And then, when you go into the comment sections, I try not to. But, when people say like, yeah, you should have, what does that mean you should have? If the person who are saying that how the other person should have executed that tree, that it's just your own perception of how you would worked, on that tree. And if all of us would do it in the exact same way, everything would be just boring, right? Like I don't really like to considering working on trees as an art form, but if we consider it that, like, that's where you have all these different painters during all these years. People, admire Picasso's work, but then people admire Da Vinci's work as well. Completely so different perspective and style of a paintbrush and an ink, right? How you write poems, how it's a self-reflection of how you feel about trees, how and what is pleasing to your own eye. At the end of the day, it's basically we are making these trees, we're having this hobby because we enjoying to do in it. We are enjoying to see our own trees developing. I like to do this right now. Also, you would say, and you could say that I left way too much branches on here, and you might be right. But I don't really know how next year we'll treat this tree. If we will lose even say 50% of the branches at the top, you still have a lot of material to work with in the future. If not, happy days, you can come back and shorten them back later on if you want to. So I added a bit more wire as I was messing up at the top and in here, and I moved this branch was out there. Lost the footage, my bad. And I moved it into here so this branch can fill out this part of the tree. That will be not that much negative space. And let me just shorten it a bit. Not much because I want to wire all the tinier branches as well. But you see from there, so that will fill this, and then we can continue to move the tree slightly to the right. So guys, as you see, there is a tons of wire on this tree right now, but I can assure you that it will never see that much wire ever again. How we could use it. Do we have enough at the back? As three-dimensional, we need something at the back in here as well. So I will use this branch to fill out that gap. What will be optional with this, even though it's in a weird way, still coming from the top, might be, so I will train it as a back branch, so we will have a nice canopy at the back as well. Almost there. Oh, jeez. Yeah, jeez, almost there. We're going to shorten the branches a tiny bit more, but not too much. Righty guys, so here we are, have it. 2 years can get you that stage. I'm really happy how it's turning out. It's the first styling. As you see, I kept the tree on a slender style. As deciduous trees, I want to keep the canopy and overall the shape dancing towards the sky. I wouldn't put down anything as you would do with conifers or evergreen trees. There could be a few different approaches from here on, right? That I will put up this tree into this tiny container next March. What I would sacrifice, I would drastically shrink the root base and over a root ball, which means kept all the wire on. The tree would not have that much energy next year to get into this shape really quick. Just imagine that way, okay? So you got a major operation on yourself, right? But then you keep feeding yourself with a lot of nutritious food so you can recover way quicker, rather than you got the operation and the next year you will be like, I will cut off the source, the main source, what it's in this pot, that I will be able to recover after this, and I can get all the shape what they wired me into. So do I want to leave it for another year just to take the shape, just to encourage a bit more growth overall, these trees are not fully Mediterranean trees as figs, olives. It needs its dormant period, okay? So I wouldn't recommend that you keep it inside for the winter period. It needs to have its dormant season, okay? When you're working on young material, it's always a challenge for me, because if I got something more mature tree, I would say personally it's easier to work on, especially something with the oriental hornbeams, that nature gave you a beautiful raw material, and then you just need to work out your secondaries and tertiaries because the base, it's set already. This is where you set your base for the upcoming good few years, hopefully. I think this is it for today. Thank you so much, guys, again. Highly appreciate all of your views and comments. See you very soon.